We have a saying that information shared is knowledge gained, and no one person has the monopoly of knowledge. So I learn from you, and you learn from me, we learn from each other. My home is not very far from Field Marshal Baimungi's village. Also, another pioneer freedom fighter who is not known very much about is General Ruko. We'll talk about that, also not far from my village. And there were other famous Mau Mau leaders, and we'll have an opportunity to talk about that. Well, thank you very much, Professor, for inviting me for this discussion. My name is Gerishon Kaburu Ndubai from Meru County. I was born in January 1943, according to my father's records, at a place called Kaderi, in central Imenti, or an area called Aboduguchi area. It's within Meru Central County today. I went to a primary school called Kaderi Primary School. It was a Methodist church-owned school, but other churches also came. They put up their own schools, particularly the independent church. And some of our relatives were in both churches. We would go to Kaderi Primary School, but on Sundays we would also go to the independent church, and there were reasons for that. Maybe we'll come to that. Kaderi is known either famously or notoriously because of its involvement in the Mau Mau struggle for Kenya's independence. Notoriously, if those people who are thinking along those lines were opposed to the Mau Mau movement. Famously, because if those that think that way were supporting the Mau Mau movement. That friction was there, and particularly during that time when we were growing up, we were interacting with these people. During my youth at that time, because I went to school in January 1950, so near our home there was a place called Mwariama. That was for many years a meeting place for the villagers and those who were nearby, where they used to have their cultural activities, dances, and so on. And therefore I was able to attend to go and see those dances and so on. And also Kaderi Market, that is where there was a very notorious camp during the struggle for Mau Mau. For Mau Mau struggle for independence. That's where a lot of people were tortured, and the Mau Maus who were killed were displayed there for people to go and see. So briefly,
you started school in 1950.
Yes.
At the age of about 7.
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware of what was going on in the country? When did you begin to become aware?
It was before that, before I went to school, because my father was in the Second World War. Okay. So when he came back, they used to have meetings with the fellow colleagues, KER, as we used to call them. He used even to have the boots and also a spoon and a plate, which was called basin, because it had a handle and it had his number engraved on it. 17,063.
That was his
first number.
His K number.
Yes, KR number. And he had boots. So we used to enjoy, seeing them. And then when they used to meet regularly, they used to hold meetings with others. So I go, and because I used to be sent, to go and do this and that, I was around and I could hear what they were talking about. Although I didn't know the greater details, I would pick some things that I would ask my father later on. What they
things that they were talking about.
Exactly. And that's how then I got interested in getting to know what was this that they were talking about, Kea, talking about Mokondicho, which meant Mogadishu, talking about Abyssinia, talking about Bombay, talking about Ceylon. That was Ceylon then. Talking about Mbama.
So all the places they had been.
Yes, because each of them had been to some places, they would now recall what was happening in those places. Again, there were now where the dances were being held at Kaderi, at Mwariama. We used to walk there with other children, and then we used to listen to those dances. And in the evening, I would ask my grandfather some of the meanings of some of those phrases, and that's where then they would explain to us. So somehow I got interested in going to school so that I could then be able to learn more. As far as I can remember, they were talking about Abyssinia, talking about Italian, talking about bombing. Now, when we were talking about bomb, I would ask what was that. Then they would explain later that there was a fight, you see, with the Italians. And then some of them were fighting. They kept on talking about one person also from our village called General Roku, who was also known for telling stories about Abyssinia. And he is one of the pioneer freedom fighters, because he joined the war. He joined the army, I think in 1940. Then he served in Ethiopia from 1942 up to 45. And while he was there, he was saying that they were guarding somebody called Emperor. Now, we were used to King George. Now we are hearing about Emperor, so I got to know we are Emperor. But later on, I came to understand that he was one of those who were recruited to guard Emperor Haile Selassie. And they became quite friendly. He was also talking about somebody called Madenge wa Mirugi. Yes, because he was saying he had a friend called Madenge wa Mirugi from Nyeri. And the names to us in Nyeri, it was not, they were not new, because our people had interacted with the people from Nyeri. So some had even come to settle in our area, in Abodoguchi area. So, and they were talking about the big offices then. The big one in Meru was the DC's office in Meru. Then they were talking about the bigger office in Nyeri, which was, of course, the provincial headquarters. So our people then were interacting quite a lot with the people from Nyeri.
Okay. When did your father join the war?
I think it was either 42 to end of 42 or around 40, when I was born.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did your father serve? Did he go to Ethiopia, to Abyssinia?
No, it's Ruku who was in Abyssinia.
No, your father.
My father was talking about Bama.
No, he went to Bama.
Yeah, he went to Bama. Those people who were in the army had their own group where they would come and meet, but they met more often at our home.
Had you heard about Jomo Kenyatta?
Yes.
In what context?
Also, people talking about somebody who was a very good orator. In Meru, there are two qualities. I mean, there are several qualities. There is the Mugambi, who's an orator. There is the Nchamba, a hero, and there is the rich person. Those were the qualities that were highly, valued. Now, when they were talking about a Mugambi, a good orator, they were talking about somebody called Njomo.
They were talking of Jomo.
Njomo. Now, I came to find out from the Wazees that Njomo had come to Meru in 1948. That is a place called Kiberichia, not very far from Meru town, but on your way to Timau area. That's called Kiberichia, because some people from Kaderi and that area had migrated and they became farmers in those areas. So you could have a dual involvement, farming in Kiberichia and also retaining the ancestral home in Kaderi. So my father's elder brother had settled in Kiberichia. Now they kept on talking about somebody who had come to Kiberichia to visit another mzee called Mubea.
So Jomo had come to visit Mubea.
Mubea. And they said Mubea was also another prominent farmer from our area who settled in Kiberichia. Now, later on I came to discover from the discussions about Ruku that it was actually Ruku who had organized for Kenyatta's visit to come to Kiberichia in August 1948. It was interesting because according to the narrative I got, the Wazees had sent Ruku to look for Kenyatta at a place called Kidonguri. And we used to hear that was the head office of the independent church, which had taken root in our area, headed by a mzee called, who later became Archbishop Nathan Mukunga, who was also heading our church at a place called Kidaku in Kaderi. So then, as Ruku was narrating this, he said that he had gone to Nyeri to look for his friend Madenge wa Mirugi, to take him to go and see Kenyatta in Githunguri. And they were also talking about somebody called Mbiu wa Kaunange. That's how they were pronouncing it. Mbiu wa Kaunange. And they said that if you go to Githunguri, you must see Mbiu wa Kaunange. And what they were saying about Koinange is about education. If you say that you are educated, they would ask you whether you are as educated or as learned as Mbiu wa Kaunange. Two things here. As far as education was concerned, people in our area knew that there was nobody else more educated than Mbiu wa Kaunange, because he has also gone overseas to go and get to know more about the Mzungu's education.
Yes.
And he was speaking that English through the nose. Then, according to Kenyatta and Jomo, they were saying that there is no better orator and a very sharp person than Kenyatta. So that's why then Ruku used his friendship with Madenge when they were guarding Haile Selassie. So when they came back, then Madenge went to his home in Nyeri, I think in Monyanga area in Odaya. And it's only Ruku who knew his name. I mean, his home. So the story goes that he went and picked his old friend. They went to see Kenyatta. First, in late 1947, Kenyatta told them that he would organize to come to Meru. So they
to come to them.
Yes, they came back. So they waited. And the Wazays now started getting impatient. And they asked Iruku, where is Njomo? Then he said that he told me that he would come. He was sent again. So in 48, around March, April, they say early 48, they came. So Kenyatta promised to come. So he came in August 1948. That's when they had then a special meeting with Kenyatta at the home of this Mzee Mubea. And the top leaders, some of them were members of the Njurincheke Council of Elders, were there to meet Kenyatta. And according to what I came to learn later from my father's elder brother who attended that meeting, because he was a member, he was a friend of Mubea, but he was also murdered under unexplained circumstances in 1954. And so he came then to explain what happened at that meeting. They said that they were prepared to fight and chase the Mzungu.
This is 1948.
Yes. Now, since then, arising from earlier discussions, Ruku had started smuggling arms from Abyssinia into Kenya. And then the way I came to discover that it was being done is that he would go to his old friend, Haile Selassie, to ask for assistance. And Haile Selassie would organize for him to get those arms and some camels. On one occasion, I'm told he was given those arms. He was escorted all the way to the Moyale on the Ethiopian side. When he reached there, now those people went back to Ethiopia. Then he got other people to escort him to the Moyale on the Kenyan side. Let me explain here that before Ruku went to KAR, he was looking after his father's cattle around the Isiolo area. So he was familiar with the local dialect. He was fluent in Kisomali. He was also fluent in Kimasai because of the Samburus. He was interacting with them. So he then hired new team that escorted him and his luggage to Isiolo. Then he dismissed the other people from the other Moyale. Now at Isiolo, then he hired new people. He also sold the camels and bought donkeys, which then ferried the luggage to a small town called Kirua. If you have been to Meru town, on the Meru Nanyuke road, there is a town called Kirua. That was a place where Ruko, deposited his stuff.
That is very good.
Yeah, then, so let me...
Before the Mau War.
Okay.
That's when he was going to Haile Selassie and getting weapons.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Before the war broke out.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So he was keeping it.
Yes.
Did Kenyatta know that he was doing that?
Now, at that meeting, in August 1948, that issue was discussed about how to fight and chase away the Mzungu. When then I'm told, Kenyatta asked, how are you going to do it? That is when Ruko revealed that he had been getting arms from Ethiopia, ferrying them to Kirua, and then from there he would hide them in the caves in the Mount Kenya forest. And then he would say that he had those arms and he was ready to get more. Now, that is where I'm told Kenyatta advised them and told them that if you go that way, you will be defeated because this white man is stronger than you, your few arms and so on. So he advised them to do that quietly and then educate people on what it is that they are planning to do and how to do it. He told them that when it comes to talking to the Mzungu, I will do it. And he said, collect your guns, but hide them, do it very secretly. And also organize your people very, very secretly and selectively. So that is where then it was agreed that the oath be taken to organize the people, to mobilize them, to explain to them what it is that they were supposed to do. Then Kenyatta said, according to them, that I will use the weapon, that is the tongue, Rurimi. He told them, I'll fight the Mzungu with the tongue, but you organize yourselves, start with the whole thing. That is where then they started something, the whole thing that was known as Kurita Antowa, that is to remove ignorance from the people. And then, to conclude that chapter, Kenyatta also mentioned the name of Mbiu Koinange in connection with him being assisted to fight the Mzungu, because Mbiu Koinange being very educated, and that's why Kenyatta used this interesting phrase that people kept on repeating, those who were at that meeting, that a wise person, mto mume athomaga baroga ibashene. That is, a wise person reads the letter while still in the envelope. And he said, Mbiu Koinange will do that. And we will do that with him. And I will use the tongue. So those kept on being, repeated. So Ruko then went and started now this organization. That is where then this organization and frequent night meetings started now being frequent. Also, in Kimeru culture, and I'm sure in also Kikuyu culture, people communicate through the songs. And we have got a saying in Kimeru, translated into English, it means that the bird sings, not because it has got a beautiful voice. Yes, it may have, but it sings because of the importance of the message it wants to pass through the song. That's why then, even in the discussions or even in the meetings, our people sing. And when they used to come at that venue, social venue at Mwariama, and they would sing those songs, but communicating messages. So when Kenyatta came again after his release from detention in 1961 at Kenoru Stadium in Meru town, he addressed a very, very massive rally, which I attended myself because I was then a student at Meru School. I was in Form 3, and we were given time to go and listen to Kenyatta. Everybody was expecting that. In his speech, Kenyatta repeated his earlier meeting in Meru in 1948, where he said, "Nenie Kenyatta wanyu uria mukuru." He reminded them that you are old Kenyatta, the same one of 1948, and you pledged to work with me. Are you still ready to work with me? Then he added something else. If I hold the lion by its ears, will you be ready for its claws? And then, of course, everybody was clapping and so on. That one but I could see the older was who had attended the 1948 meeting, kept on remembering. And then I also remember now those stories that I used to hear from Morocco and my father and the other Wazees.
So is it to say that Kenyatta and Madenge were very close?
According to that dimension, yes, because Morocco could not have gone to anybody. So he had to go to Madenge, his old friend, who knew what they were even discussing while in Abyssinia guarding Haile Selassie. So he must have gone to explain to him the purpose of the meeting. And then Madenge now helped him and accompanied him to go and meet Kenyatta. But then something emerged out of that meeting, and that also emerged from the independent church, because some of the people who were at that meeting were also members of the independent church. And then the songs, as I came to discover later, at that meeting, the kind of songs that we were taught in the independent church were different in content, but the tune was the same. So I came to discover to learn from the Wazees there that when the meeting ended at Mubea's home, then they agreed, they concluded a pact of unity, a unity pact, and that was cemented in a song. But it was. Do you
remember the song?
Yes.
Can you sing it?
They started because they did not want anybody to know what they were talking about. They chose a tune that was religious. They were also making references to the biblical texts. And the song, because most of the songs were sung in Kikuyu, we were singing them in Kikuyu.
Yes,
okay? The song went like this. Amiru na Gikuyu ciana cia Mwathani haikaraga ina thayo mwambe muiguane nitukwamba gwiciria uhoro wa migwi ai na wa matimo nango takirai muigwe tene kwari Judasi wa kwendia Mwathani hai na riu kuri Judasi wa kwendia githaka Muraika wa Mwadhan arugamisheni hai akiendaga gutonya githaka kia Ngai. Now, that was a song. We would sing it in the church, but then other people would think that, okay, that is a church song. We are talking about Judas, we are talking about the Bible, but then the message, of course, you can get
So that was in 1950 or thereabouts?
Yes, yeah.
And you are singing that?
Yes.
Okay. When the emergency was declared, where were you?
I was still at Kaderi, and that was on the 20th of October 1952, and I was in Standard 3. There was, first of all, prior to that, there was a lot of tension around. It had been building up, and even the type of dances had changed. There was a dance that was popularized since the late 40s after the Second World War, and that dance was championed by the ex-KAR soldiers, and it was called Kamanda. Kamanda was the Kimeru pronunciation of commander, because the military command. So they would form a line as they were dancing, following their command. So it was called commander. And they were saying that commander which means commander is not a bed for you to come and tell me, create a space for me. Get your own space, okay? So you could see that type of tension, of defiance, because they would even sing songs criticizing the Wazungus. Now, those dances kept on being intensified towards the end of 1949, and then, of course, 1950, and then they were even banned. At one time, Commander was banned by the DC in Meru town. We'll get to that one, because it was getting too hot politically. Now, at the school, the kind of teaching we were given was rather strange, in the sense that the teachers would come, and then we would be taught about money, and the teacher would get a currency note, and then he would show us the picture. First of all, it was of King George VI, and then later on, after 1952, we started seeing the picture of Queen Elizabeth, and then we would be told that, do you see, if the king or the queen is seeing you, so when you go to that corner, you still can see the eyes. So we are told, the king or the queen can see and hear you wherever you are, even if you are hiding somewhere. He is in Buckingham Palace. We don't know where that one was, but he can see you. All right? Later on, that was elaborated after the declaration of the state of emergency, because the Mau Mau fighters also came up with their own propaganda to counteract that. But that showed clearly that we were told, you be careful what you say and where you say it. So people counteracted that, and if you had some coins in the pocket, if you wanted to go to a meeting, you remove them from the pocket. You leave them somewhere. Anyway.
The king or queen does not see you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so the declaration of emergency?
Yeah, that was in 1952. And I remember on the 19th of October, because we would always go to watch these songs, in the afternoons. That particular afternoon, the kind of dances, the kind of songs were intimidating in the kind of the message that was being conveyed. You see, the kind of Kimeru dances were that the people would stand, the men would stand in a line, and then women or the young lady in front of them, and of course inside a circle of the of the village as the spectators. And then of course one person would say something or ask a question, and the other one would answer. So we would listen then to the story. They would tell a story. Now they started talking about blood. I remember one particular soloist. He was called Ntuitonga or Agitonga. He was known because whenever he came, everybody knew that now the people, the group has come. If he was absent, people would start asking why, where he is. Now on that day, he started singing about a place where they would go. He would say they, Kalimatugatura, okay? A hill where we shall reside in the future. Are you prepared to join us? You would also sing, saying that my sisters and brothers, are you hating me? Are you betraying me while the outsiders are also betraying me? Now those people started now whispering around, and then you could feel that tension. Even at that age, you could feel that tension. And then you would also say, you would say, let me say bye-bye to you, because we may not meet again. And if we meet, it may be in a different environment. So as those songs kept on intensifying, and the other one, of course, would respond to him. And then where he hit the nail on the head, you could hear the ladies ululating, kuringa kuankemi. So somewhere late in the afternoon, people started moving away. So I told my friend with whom we were sitting there, let's go home. So we left a little earlier. And when I went home, my mother asked me, why have you come? And I said, no, we felt, there is something that is not right. So we went home. Now, that same night, that's when the state of emergency was declared. So that tension started building up towards that day. Yes.
So what did your father do?
No, my father went for a while to work in a Mzungu's farm in Gilgil. He worked there for some time, and he came back. He was very disappointed. He came back. And when he came back, he kept on talking very badly about the Wazungus. Apparently, he met some Mzungus with whom they were in the war. And here he is as a herdsman, you see, for the Mzungu. And here is the Mzungu who is shouting at them, calling them boy, which means a boy, servant. He said he could not tolerate that. So he came back.
Okay. So do you know some people in your area who went to the forest?
Yes. Yeah. Uroko was the earliest. Now the others there was somebody called Gen Kagia. You see, they had the names, but then they had also what they used to call the bush names. He was called Gen Kagia, but his real name was Ntoikiugu wa Kamuru, Nduikiugu, son of Kamuru. Ruku himself was called Ruku because each of the names, these called bush names, had a meaning to convey. Ruku meant hard because it was tough, hard as firewood. Okay? Kagia means when, you see, when the vehicle is to see those lorries, that when you want to start, there was a
The one you start by.
yeah, unakoroga hivi alafu yes, alafu driver then engages the gear. So that's the one that was called Kagia, you know.
Okay.
Now that is the name Kagia. Ruku was called Ntoikiara, son of Nyonta. There was also a General Mukarange, son of Mubea. Remember the old man, Mubea? Yeah, General Mukarange was the son of Mubea.
Kenyatta's friend.
Yes, the mzee at whom mzee held this crucial meeting. Mukarange means to fry, something that is fried. Then there was Mwariama from Nyambene Hills. Mwariama was called Ntomuchiri or Ntokeregwa, but his other name was Mwariama. Mwariama means one who tells the truth always, no matter what, he will tell the truth. Then there is Baimungi. Baimungi's name was M'Marete or Ntoikandi, but he was called Baimungi because in Kemeru, Mungi is a headgear made out of the calabash monkey skin or the mane of the lion. You've seen the Maasais wearing this. You've also seen the Chuka drummers wearing the calabash monkey. That one is given to a warrior who is also a leader and a brave person in recognition of his leadership. So, Ba Imungi means one who adorns that prestigious headgear. Those are some of the many. There were many. Some of those leaders whom I knew personally. But Mwariama, I met him much later because, as I said, these others came from our village, like Baimungi. I knew him through his elder brother, called Ntoanampiu Ntoikandi, who was a friend of my father. So, when I met Baimungi first, that was around 1952, early 52. He found us with his elder brother. I think my father had sent me to deliver a message to Baimungi's elder brother. So Baimungi then came and he greeted us. That's how I got to know him. He was always quiet, but in a pensive mood, talking very little and listening more. Then later on, when he went to the forest, there were so many stories about him and so on. Another time when I met him personally was when he came out of the forest after handing over the arms at the Kinoru Stadium and then having come to see Mzee Kenyatta at Gatundu. So he had then come back. Now he was coming as a hero now to Kaderi. So he found us with his brother at a petrol station at Kaderi Market because people were waiting to receive him at a nearby field where there is a high school now, Kaderi High School. So he came and then he was in a Land Rover. grayish color, and he was sitting next to the driver. And then there were some other people I didn't know behind him. So the Land Rover came and stopped where we were with his brother. Then he greeted us, and we had a little chat with him, and well, had to remain there. What he told us. Right. Then after that, when I had contact with Baimungi again, was at the Meru Police Station, where we went to identify his body. That was on the 26th of January, 1965. That was another very traumatizing day, because from the morning there was tension in Meru town. So everybody was talking in whispers. And then we went to have a cup of tea at a hotel, at a small hotel, you know, the local hotels, called Blue Bridge. So as we were having a cup of tea, here comes a tall man with fierce looking eyes, and he sat next to me and the other two people. So we sat and went on talking. Everybody was talking about Baimungi. Baimungi has been arrested. Baimungi has been arrested. Then after some time, somebody rushed into the hotel and shouted, Baimungi has been killed. And the body is in this police station. That is at the Meru Central Police Station. Now, this tall, fierce-looking man stood up. He banged the table, and some of the glasses fell, and said, "Is that true? I will go myself and confirm if my brother Ndubai'S, that is son of Ndubai'S, has been killed. I want to see his body." So he stormed out. I followed him because we were sitting next to him, and some other people came. So we went to the Meru Police Station, and people were now rushing towards that, and the police stopped it. But we had already got in with the Mwariama. That was my first close encounter with the Mwariama, with those eyes of his. And then we were shown where Baimungi's body was. Professor, it was pathetic, because the body was sprayed with the bullets. So this was not the Baimungi that I had met earlier, the one that I knew with his brother. Anyway, when Mwariama saw that, he went wild and threatened to burn the police station. That is where then the policemen, under the command of their boss, came and restrained him. So all of us were chased out of the Meru Police Station at the gunpoint, and the gate was closed. So we were pushed. If you have been to Meru town, you know the Central Police Station, and there is the line of shops. The first shop there was Mohammed Muti's shop. So a barrier was put there, and we were all pushed beyond the Mohammed Muti shops, and we were told nobody should pass there. Now then, after that, we saw a Land Rover, police Land Rover, with Mwariama inside, escorted by the police, rush out of the police station. From that time, I don't know where Mwariama was taken, and I don't know where Baimungi's body was taken. That was January the 26th, 1965. By then I had completed my A-levels. I was waiting to go to Dar es Salaam University.
Before Baimungi died? maybe now it's getting to the second phase. There are reports that Baimungi and Mwariama had differed.
Mm-hmm.
You know about it? What was their difference? Or what were they quarreling about?
Well, politics, politics comes in whenever these issues are discussed. Some people were saying that since Baimungi comes from Imenti, in our area is called Imenti, on the slopes of Mount Kenya, and Mwariama comes from Nyambene. Nyambene is to the northern part of Meru County today. So some people were talking about those divisions. But then the surprising thing then is this: if Mwariama could show that anger really following the death
Yes.
of his own, whom he called brother, because he said that in my presence, Mutano Chia, that is son of my, that's my brother has been killed. If they had those other differences, I don't know, but there have been those whispers. However, if I may add a little, what appears to have contributed to the unexplained death of Baimungi were certain issues. One, relating to land allocation in a Timau area, because Baimungi, I'm reliably told by some of those colleagues of his, because people kept on talking about it, Baimungi, when they went to see Mzee Kenyatta, according to what those sources have said, is that Baimungi told Mzee that they had identified a farm in Timau area which they would request Mzee to allocate it to them, but as a group, so that they themselves, under Baimungi's leadership and his committee, could share among themselves. That's one. The other issue being raised was that some people say that Baimungi insisted that him and his people should be recruited into the army. I'm not very sure about that, because there are procedures that are followed in the recruitment. But that was also said. Another one was that they allege Baimungi demanded big positions in the government. I'm not very sure about that. But as far as the land issue is concerned, what is said is that by Mzee Kenyatta, that is again according to the people, to the narratives from the people, given by the people who were there. They say that Kenyatta did not say yes or no. He told them, okay, if that is your wish, I will think about it and convey the message to you at a later stage. Then I'm told Baimungi agreed with that one, and he told him there, he thanked him and said that we will go and wait. But if you are not able to come personally, we would prefer that you send Mbiu or Koinange to come and bring that message. He also gave Baimungi a Land Rover. I think it was registration number KFF 660. Because when it came to Kaderi, people were rejoicing and saying KFF. Then they said Kenya's freedom fighter, number one. Baimungi's. Okay. He was also given, I think, a flag and 5 miniature national flags. One for himself and the others to give to his senior officers.
So that they
So-
also have a small flag.
Exactly, so that they feel that they too are now part of the Serikali they have been fighting for. But then there has been a lot of wrangling, and there are also political brokers, both within both the camps,
Yes.
within Baimungi's and the Mwariama's camp and so on, who might have been perpetuating all those differences and so on. That is a bit I know. Yeah.
Now, when Kenyatta was released from prison, where
Yeah.
were you?
Yes, that was in 1961.
Yes.
I was at Meru School in Form 3.
So did you hear about the formation of KANU?
Yes. Kanu was there, but even before then, even earlier on with those dances, there was so much talk, from late 40s and even early 50s, there was so much talk about the cow. And cow, some people did not know what cow meant, but except those members who are also now, the wazes now who are discussing these issues with my father, they were talking about the kiama cow. That is, they were talking about the formation of kiama cow. And then, when now, during the emergency itself, and even before then, they were talking about kiama mau. So, in the commander dance, they were singing kiama mau tulinganirwe kwa Baithumbi. That was as early as 1948. Because Baithumbi was a white district commissioner in Meru. He was called Mr. Johnson. He had long hair, like a crown, like a mungi. And in Kimeru, that is called Dhumbi, also in Kikuyu. So people gave him the nickname Baithumbi. Just the way they were referring to Baimungi as Baimungi. So the reference is that to heard from the Wazes, and even commander dancers, they were talking about, they were singing songs about Baithumbi. So they were saying Kiama Mau. That is the members of the cow, which has now become Mau. They should meet Baithumbi in Meru town, face to face. One time, because these people now, the military, the former KR people, were very, very defiant, because Baithumbi is the one who had banned commander. Have you been to Meru town?
Yeah.
Right. Now, the Peg and Whistle Hotel. Also, if you are coming from Embu side, you are entering Meru town, you cross the bridge, that is Kazita River. Okay? To the left is a Pig and Whistle Hotel. The shops are ahead of you. To the right, buildings have come up there now, but that was a field where a commander dance used to take place. Now commander dancers used to meet there. This time, I think it was 1949, 48, 49. Baithumbi had banned commander dance. But the dancers defied that commander. And they organized themselves to go and dance. Normally dances used to take place in the afternoons. This time they went in the morning. They waited up to around 9 o'clock when the DC Baithumbi was in the office, so that they could sing when he was in the office and make sure he hears. And if he sends his askaris, which he did, pretending and dressed like commander dancers, but they were eavesdropping. So some memorable songs were sung there. One of them used to say that Tugatiga Kuina, commander, we will stop dancing, commander, only when the Mzungu stops his Mzungu's dance. Okay? And then they said another one, they would say, Bwere Baidhombe, yani tell that Mzungu Baidhombe, Ngale Yaremera, Mwena Joe Kamba. That is, the vehicle is stuck in Ukambani. The meaning was that the commander dancers and the Mau Mau thing has spread beyond this area, beyond the Mount Kenya area. It is even extending to Ukambani. So they were also going to intimidate the Mzungu. Now, what happened then is that when they noticed that those spies there, then they sang another song. They identified those Mzungu spies by using a name, Ntondado. They said Ntondado ate kuina ni matwago tabia, which means when you see Ntondado here, he is not just dancing, he is eavesdropping, hearing what you are saying, so that he can go and report. Which meant that they had already identified the dancers here. Then when the message went to the DC, he sent his askaris. He was very, very furious. He sent his askaris. Instead of arresting them, the dancers, he asked them to go to disperse quietly. You see, they were prepared for the confrontation. But when the Mzungu decided he should not confront them, so they also relaxed and they felt that they had won and they went away. That kept on being repeated as a point of reference. Yeah.
Okay, now, Bernard Mate.
Yes.
How was he received? What did people think about him?
Yes. Bernard Mate, to start with, was a hero. Was a hero. He came from what is called today Tharaka Nithi County. That's the southern part of Meru. By then, when we are talking about the Meru, the greater Meru, the old Meru, both the Meru County and the Tharaka Nithi County. From Tonyere, Mwankadochi. Tonyere means the northern, the hill to the north, and the Dochi, that is the river Dochi, which divides Embu and Meru, and Tharaka Nithi now. So, at that time, people, apart from Mbio Koinange, who was known for being educated, now in Meru we had our own equivalent of Mbio Koinange, was Bernard Mate. At that time, the Mzungu, whether a missionary or an administrator, they were called Bwana. Okay? So, with us we were saying that a white man is a white man, whether an administrator or a missionary. That's why that song, Utire Mudongo na Mubea. Okay, Nyakero ni mudo muruma, Utire Mudongo na Mubea. Huai meturiro, Togeino kashiana shamombi. That was a song sung by ex-military, KR people, my father included, when they were discharged from the army. They were singing about about their unity, their unity of the Kem people, Kikuyu, Embu and Meru. Now, Mate then having gone, first of all, to Alliance, then he went to, I think, the University of Wales, and then he came back and he taught for a short time at Alliance High School. Then, that was, I think, 1950, around 56. Then, Meru School was established in 1956. Mate was transferred to teach at Meru School, but then there is a Meru Teachers College across the road and a Meru School. Now, the first headmaster, the acting headmaster, was the principal of the teacher training college called Captain Wilson. So when Mate came, he had then to take over temporarily from Captain Wilson to be in charge of Meru School before another Mzungu came, a German called Mr. U.A. Weissler, to head Meru School. Now, when Mate then was at, he was also teaching Meru School and a teacher training college. But Mate was highly political. When he was teaching at Meru School, he was teaching the first Form 1 class, also about politics. Now, he would teach them about political, jargons and jargons, you see, and then he got involved in the meetings that were taking place in Meru and so on. And then he got involved and in Njuri now wanted to be represented when discussions were taking place about the Lancaster House, meetings and so on. By that time, politics really had started now gathering momentum. So, first of all, he was made a Njuri member, because you cannot become a leader in Meru without having, first of all, become a Njuri elder. And you don't campaign for that position. There's no room for that. The Wazes do their due diligence without you knowing. And then you are invited to be installed. Having checked everything about you, and you will never know who was doing the due diligence. The Wazes announced that you are invited. You are not even told where you are invited. It's announced when you are there. Mate had first of all to become a member of the Njuri. Yes, I will leave it at that. Then he had a lot of respect all over Meru. I said earlier that the Mzungu, the white man, was called Bwana. The DC was called Bwana. A reverend was called Bwana. A farmer was called Bwana, so and so. Now, people also in Meru said, okay, Mate is also our leader. We call him Bwana Mate. So, they even composed songs, okay, saying that we are told, we are advised to unite by our leader, Bwana Mate, Bwana Bernard Mate wa Mwembe, because he hailed from Mwembe, Bwana Mate. But the traitors, that is the Kamatimu, are betraying us. And the song went like this. Tulirwa ihene tuenda ne Bwana Mate omwimbi kabolie kauna iwado. See, Mate wants us to unite. But these traitors, the Kamatimu, are betraying us. Anyway, Mate became very, very popular. But somewhere when he said, he was even a minister, I think, for health and social services. And I saw him when he had come, when there was that coalition in government. And he came together with Ronald Ngala, to Kaderi, our place in Meru, because Kaderi was a hot place for Mau Mau and all politics. And there was even Kaderi was branded as Kaderi ka Mau Mau, by our detractors. Anyway, now Mate brought, by then he had already become a member of the Legico and so on. He brought Ngala at Kaderi to address a meeting, and then they went out. That's when for the first time I saw Bwana Mate. Now, later on, they disagreed. There were political disagreements. I won't go into the details. Until when Mate came once at a meeting, and he was very, very furious, where he said, about turn, mubirajo kugarukana, which means about turn. The football teams have now changed sides. That's one very memorable statement. Another one, it is said that Mate got so frustrated when he was a member of Legico, and he came to the August house with his beard shaved halfway. By the way, Mate was bald-headed and he had a full beard. And then he had shaved it halfway that day, and he came to Parliament. And then the Honorable Speaker called Bwana Mate to order. I think either Martin Shikuku or somebody raised a point of order that there is an honorable member who is improperly dressed. So Mate spoke, and he said he was trying to say some, was making some statements, but then later on he had to explain what he meant. He would say that he was making a point, that since he comes from the other side of the mountain, it appears that this side of the mountain is being taken care of, but the other side of the mountain is forgotten. That's why he was to demonstrate that one. Exactly. But anyway, that one is neither here nor there, but he made a point. Later on, when he was in the political court for quite some time, a member of parliament known as Simon Kamunde died in a car accident. People from his constituency said that in the by-election they will look for Mate, irrespective of whether he comes from that area or not. That is a new constituency. They went to Mate's home area, looked for him to come and contest in the by-election to show how popular Mate was all over Meru. Then he went and he told them he didn't have any money to campaign. People told him money is no problem. What we want is for you to agree to contest. We will campaign for you. They bought him clothes, they campaigned for him, and Mate became a member of parliament. That was the story of Mate. He became so popular, and incidentally, I got to know even a bit about his family, because his son, the late Njagi, happened to be my student at A-levels at the Kahumo High School in Nyeri in the late 60s. So I also got to know a bit more about Mate, but that's what I knew even before I came across his son.
Okay, now I think we'll need to shift gears a little bit. We've been discussing your experience. Now, you wear now the other hat, you as a scholar now. You've written an MA thesis on Mau Mau in Meru.
Yes.
If you are to assess the level of the involvement
Yes.
of the Greater Meru
Yes.
in the Mau Mau War,
Yes.
what would it be?
Well, it's a long story which cannot be told in a few words. There are some misconceptions. Okay, one of them is that they say that Meru never fought. They were just, they followed other people. They were led by other people. That was a misconception. Because Meru people participated effectively alongside their brothers and sisters from the rest of the mountain, from Kikuyu land and from Embu. From time immemorial, we had connections between the Kikuyus and the Meru people. First, one of the pioneers in the Meru struggle, in the Mau Mau struggle, was Iroko, as I have indicated. How he started, smuggling arms from Ethiopia, Abyssinia. So the Meru people were involved from that early stage. Now, the last people to leave the forest were the Meru people. When Field Marshal Baimungi was gunned.
Yes.
You see? So we have been involved throughout that.
Misconception. Another one?
The other misconception is about the leadership. Okay? Because they say that the leaders were from other areas, but not from Meru. As far as I know, unless somebody tells me otherwise, the topmost ranks in Mau Mau leadership is a rank of Field Marshal. And there were 4 Field Marshals, to the best of my knowledge. There was Field Marshal Kimathi from Nyeri. There was Muthoni Kirima. She was also a Field Marshal from Nyeri. And as far as I know, that she's the only woman who rose to that rank. Those are 2 Field Marshals from this side of the mountain. Then there was a Field Marshal Mwariama, Field Marshal Baimungi from Meru. There was Assistant Field Marshal Gachienja from Meru. So when it comes to that top leadership, well, there were, both from Meru and from this other part of the mountain. Okay. So they worked together. They worked together really as a team.
It was a team.
The third misconception is that when it comes to what happened then after Uhuru, when people asked then what did you gain, or some people got this and the others got that, there are some misconceptions because there are grievances. It's not only the Meru people who have got grievances, even people from the other side of the mountain. There are very poor people also who did not get what they wanted. There were people who were traitors then, and they gained on both sides. So surely that one should be seen as cutting across the whole area. So in a nutshell then, Meru participated, they played their part. When it comes to the names of generals and so on, I mentioned more than 20, generals from Meru. There are generals from Nyeri, there were generals from Muranga, Kirinyaga and so on. From what I've found out is that the original Mau Mau War Council was formed in Nairobi, early 1952. It had 14 members, And it was at this place called Kiburi House along Kirinyaga Road. Then it was Grogan Road. And at that time, Madenge was appointed chairman from Nyeri. Ruku was appointed vice chairman from Meru.
So it was Madenge and Ruku.
Yeah, Madenge and Ruku. Then Kimathi was appointed secretary. The reason being that of all the other people, Kimathi was more educated than the others. So the others had, military experience also, like Madenge and Ruku. Then Kimathi was more educated academically. Then there was also General China, who was appointed to head the logistics, also from Nyeri.
Yes.
And he was given that position because he was very good at guerrilla warfare. So he was given that position to be in charge of logistics and also a trainer. Now, Ruku was, they needed somebody also to be in charge of the religious affairs. And they appointed somebody to be Ruku's assistant. And Ruku was given that the other position because of his skills in getting arms and also in mobilizing resources. So he had then to have two assistants. One of them was Mzee called Ntunkong from Meru. He was in charge of the religious affairs, and as a prophet who was praying for them when they were going for the missions. Then he had another assistant. I mentioned General Kagia. He was also assistant to Ruku. Then there was somebody called Kubu, I think from Embu. By that time, Embu was combined with Kirinyaga. Then there were 7 other members. And the way it was done was that all the divisions were represented. Kiambu, Murang'a, Nyeri, Meru, and then Embu. So the other membership was composed of people from those other areas. But from what I found out, there may be other details, but this is what I found out. That was the original one. But then later on, that one was changed later. You could not be allowed into some of those meetings if you were not a member. So where decisions were made, it was made top secret. And even at that house, which was called the command post, you see, all decisions were not made there. They were made elsewhere in secret places, but then ratified there. Then from there they had to be communicated to Abadea's headquarters, because the divisions were that there were those divisions in the Abadea's area and those divisions in the Mount Kenya area, which took care of Nyeri, present-day Kirinyaga, and then Meru. And that was known as the Madhaidi Army, headed by General China. Waruyu Waitote was in charge of that. And that's where, Akina Ruku, Akina Mwariama and Baimungi were in that area. They were reporting to China. Up to 1954, which was a very tragic year at that time, because I think around the 15th of January, That's when General China was captured. Then the other people, he was assisted by five generals who were under him. Although he was a general, he was a senior general because of those divisions. Then these other generals were under him. There was a General Tanganyika who took over from him after he was captured. But then he was also shot in 1954. Then there was a General Kariba, also from Madeira, but his name was Gatiti. He was also shot in 54. And there was another general, those who were really supporting to China. So that year, 1954, was very, very tragic. But then they managed to reorganize themselves and they carry on the struggle.
What did you know about, have you found out about General Kago?
General Kago, not very much, but one thing I've come across, and let me explain this. From 1968 to 1970, I was teaching at the Kagumo High School. Therefore, I had the opportunity to interact with the people who are in the the forest and their relatives and so on. I got to know quite a lot about that area, and also I heard quite a lot about Kago. What is said about Kago repeatedly is that he was a very, very brave person, and he was even highly feared by the Mzungu. Whenever they had General Kago had passed through somewhere, they got very scared, and that is why one narrative says that when Kago was shot, the Mzungu did not believe that he was dead. They insisted that they should burn his body because of the fear that his name alone.
Actually, I can add a little bit. They physically took him from Murang'a to Nairobi to verify the fingerprints that he is the one.
Okay.
And then they returned him to Murang'a and roasted him there.
Okay. Right.
The tally is very well.
Exactly. So in that case, then, because that kind of treatment, I also saw it at Kaderi, because there was in 1954 there was a Mzungu there called Harry Hamilton. He was a special. He was the head of the scenes of crime, and he would go and get the dead bodies of the Mau people instead of having them ferried in a lorry as they used to be done and brought at Kaderi, so that you could be forced to go and view the dead bodies, and if you cry, you are also branded a Mau. So, and that's what was done about General Kagia. I went to, he was killed in 1956, and I went to view his body there. Now, this Mzungu is the one who started that method of having the hands chopped off and the body left in the forest to be eaten by the wild animals. Then this would be put, the hands would be put in a chondo. He would come to Meru town police station, verify the fingerprints, and then send the records to Nairobi.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did Roko die?
Roko died, I think, in 1957. He was shot in the Imenti forest. Yeah. He was shot by the Home Guards. But there's also General China. General. I'm mentioning General China, by the way, because they were also friends with the Roko.
China and Roko are friends.
They were also friends, because they were in the same Madaidi army.
Yes.
And then something else. that I came across about Kimathi, although there were some unconfirmed rumors or allegations that he had some disciplinary issues with the authorities when he was in the military. To his credit, he was very active in the Mau Mau movement, organizing meetings and so on. He was also a very good orator. They say that he was also very intelligent. They say that he was also very cunning. And you could not easily, deceive him. Those are some of the qualities that I've heard mentioned, both from multiple sources, from Nyeri, from Meru, and so on. He was that kind of a person. He was also very, very daring. Very daring.
In general, would you say that the Mau Mau War was worth it or it was useless?
It was worth it, but at a very high cost.
Yes.
Because if our heroes and heroines did not do what they did at a very high cost, we could not be where we are today. It was very costly, yes. It was very nasty, yes. But it was worth it. Because we have got a saying in Kimeru that there is no good medicine which is sweet. Every good medicine is bitter. So you have to swallow that bitter medicine so as to get cured. So, yes, it was very bitter, but it was worth it. But what I would add here is that surely, if it were possible, even at this late hour, for our government to do whatever is possible and viable to assist in whatever form those people or their dependents at this late hour, it would be worth it.
Mwariama